All right, now let's take a look at the May June 2020 paper, paper 4. This is the first variant. All right, once again, just let me remind you, the newer syllabus requires you to not use calculator for one paper. So when you practice the past year papers, the best way to do this is to minimize using the calculator as much as you can. Okay, now let's take a look at this. Question 1A, percentages. Okay, in 2018, Gretel earned $32,000. She spent 24% of these earnings on tax. Okay, the tax amount is just 24% of this, so I just gonna take 32000 times 24 over 100. Okay, if we do this without calculator, we divide by 100 first, then we take 320 times 24. 0.867. Okay, but historically, percentages, compound interest, simple interest, they tend to come out in your calc paper, right? But here we just practice with a calculator. Okay, part 2, her earnings increased by 7%. Work out earnings in 2019. Okay, if I increase something by 7%, I'm taking 107% of the initial amount. Okay, so I'm going to take 32000 times 107 over 100. Okay, same thing without calculator. This is how I do it. Divide by 100 first. So 320 times 107. 320. So it's 0422. Sorry. This is 3320 here. So 04243. Okay, so it's $34,240. Okay, next, Gretel invest 5,000 at a rate of 2% per annum, compound interest. Okay, so just a quick recap on how compound interest looks like. The total amount is your principal, which is the money you first put in, times 1 plus the interest rate to the power of n. Okay, so in this case, her principal is 5,000. 1 plus 0.02 for 3 years cube. Okay, this one, no choice, we need calculator. Okay, this is exact, yeah. So just leave it as it is. Don't have to round it. You might lose marks for rounding it wrongly. Okay, next, percentages. Oh, fractions and percentages. Yeah, good question. Okay, 1 month, Gretel spent a total of 360 on presents. She spent 1/5 of her total on presents for her parents. 2/3 of the remaining. So keyword here is remaining for her friends, and the rest for her sisters. Calculate the percentage of the $360 she spent on the presents. Okay, this 360 is actually useless, by the way. Okay, I'll show you 2 methods to do this. One using the 360, one without. Okay, method 1, without. Okay, so she spent 1/5 on her parents. Okay, she would have 4/5 left. Okay, and she spent 2/3 of what's left of the remaining money for her friends. So for her friends, it will be 2/3 of 4/5. It's 8 over 50. Right? And then she spent the rest of her money on her parents. So sorry, for her sisters. We want to figure out the percentage that she spent on her sisters. So for her sisters, we're gonna take 1 whole minus how much she paid for her parents, how much she paid for her friends. Okay, this is 5/15 over 15 minus 3 over 15. This is 4 over 15. And then we just really convert this into percentage. It's 26 and 2/3%. Okay, you can round it to decimal place as well. So 26.7, 3SF, it's fine. Okay, so realize that this method requires doesn't require us to use the $360. Okay, so method 2, if you want to use the $360, okay, so parents, she spent 1/5 of the 360, and that's $72. Okay, then she spent 2/3 of the remaining. So we figure out how much remains first. That will be 360 minus 72. And she spent 2/3 of this. So times 2/3. We figure out it's $192. Okay. Then for sisters, we just do 360 minus 72 minus 192. That will give us $96. So the percentage that she spent on her sisters is 96 over 360 times 100%. You will get the same answer, by the way. Okay, so 2 methods to do this. Let's move on. Arjun earned this much, 36515. This was a 9% increase. This amount is a 9% increase, meaning this is 109% of 2018. Okay, it's 109% of 2018. So we're going to use this unitary method. 109% represents 36515. Okay, I want to work out the earnings in 2018, so I'm figuring 100%. Okay, then the technique I teach you is first get to 1% first. So that means I divide 109, then I times 100. So using the direct proportion, divide 109 times 100. It will be 335,500. 335,500. Okay, it should be easy if you have practiced enough percentages. Okay, Arjun and Gretel each pay rent. In 2018, the ratio of their rent is 5:7. And in 2019, it became 9:13. Okay, Arjun paid the same amount in rent for both years. Okay, so and Gretel paid 290 more rent in 2019 than she did in 2018. Look at the amount Arjun paid. Okay, so the trick here is because Arjun paid the same amount, we want to make their ratio exactly the same. Okay, so A to G, this is in 2018. 2019, A to G. Okay, using equivalent ratios, I want to make Arjun's ratio exactly the same. So what I'm going to do here is just times 9, here times 5. So this will become 45 to 63, 45 to 65. Okay, now Arjun's ratio is exactly the same. I just need to look at Gretel's portion, 63 is 65. So there's a change in 2 units. So I can say that 2 units is the $290 that was stated in the question. Okay, so I want to figure out how much Arjun paid. I need to find 45 units. So what I'm going to do here is just divide 2. Same thing as the previous question, times 45. Okay, 6,525. Okay. Question 2, cumulative. Okay, the height of 120 boys in an athletics club are recorded. Okay, write down the modal class. Modal just means highest frequency. Okay, highest frequency is this one. That's just it. Okay, calculate and estimate mean of a height. Now, to calculate the mean height of a group frequency table, we need to first find the midpoints of each groups. Okay, let me find. Okay, the midpoint of this group, the first group here, is between 1.3 and 1.4. There's 1.35. This is 1.45, 1.55, 1.65, 1.75, 1.85. Okay, then I'm gonna multiply the midpoint with my frequency. And anyway, before that, if you have your formula sheet, you can actually refer. Mean is actually the summation of fx over the summation of f. That just means I want to calculate the total of all my data divided by the number of data I have. Okay, that's just what it means. So the fx here is just 1.3 times 7 plus 1.45 times 18. Okay, I'm just going to write it down. Okay, and plus 1.45 times 18 plus 1.55 times 30. Oh, no space. Hang on. Plus 1.65 times 24 plus 1.75 times 27 plus 1.85 times 40. So this is the summation of fx. Okay, whole thing over, oops. Whole thing over, still too thick, you know. Okay, whole thing over the total number of data I have, which is 120. Okay, then I just need to key this whole string into my calculator. Okay, this is 194.8 divided by 130. You can actually skip this step here if you're confident. Okay, get 1.62 to 3SF. Oh, okay, combined with probability. One boy is chosen at random from the club. Find the probability that this boy has a height greater than 1.8 meter. So that boy needs to come from this group. Okay, so the probability is just 14 out of 120. Okay, a probability, they won't penalize you if you don't simplify this, by the way. So, but if you want to simplify, 7 out of 60. Okay, 3 boys are chosen. Oh my gosh, okay, 3 boys are chosen at random. Calculate the probability that one of the boys has a height greater than 1.8 and the other 2 boys each have a height of 1.4 meters or less. Okay, that means I want 1 boy from here and 2 boys from here. Okay, let me get this down. Shrink it down a bit. Okay, so the probability of okay, I don't want to write it out, but basically just the probability. The probability is I want 2 from here, right? So 7 out of 120, and I can't replace the choice. So the next boy I choose is 6 out of 119. Okay, then the last boy needs to come from here. So 14 out of 118. Okay, now remember the trick. The order in which we choose these boys don't matter. Okay, so let's say this is B1, B2, B3. I can also make it like B2, B1, or B3. I can also choose it B3, B2, B1. Okay, so I think there's more than one way, you know. Yeah, I think there are only 3 ways. Okay, because B1 and B2 are indistinguishable. So these two cases are actually identical. Okay, so wait. Okay, I'm gonna label this first, just to make my explanation a bit clearer. I'm gonna label the boy that I choose from this group B1, this one B2. So I can actually do this. I can do B1, then B1, then B2. I can also do B1, then B2, then B1. I can also do B2, then B1, then B1. Okay, I have 3 cases. And each of these cases are, they have the same probability. So I can show you just times 3 here. Okay, you can also write it out one by one. But times 3 a bit faster. Okay, if you evaluate this, this is 21 over 20,060. This year a bit hard. Got a lot of tricky questions. Need you to think a bit. Okay, next one is free marks. Use the frequency table on page 14 to complete the cumulative frequency. Okay, I need to scroll up and down a bit. Okay, to calculate the frequency, cumulative frequency. Okay, this is what we do, yeah. The trick is this. We want to identify the number of people that have a height of less than or equal to 1.6. So we go up. Okay, so the people who are less than 1.6, right, is 1, 2, 3. So we need to add all these 3 up. Okay, and this is 7 plus 18 plus 30. It's 55 people. Okay, just gonna write it down here first. Okay, next one, I want to find the people who are less than or equal to 1.7. I'm looking at here. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I need to add all of these up. Okay, which is the same as 55, because the first 3 is 55 plus the previous plus the new group frequency. So it's 55 plus 24, which is 79. Okay, and you keep adding in the previous frequency. Okay, this one will be 106, this one 120. Okay, draw frequency diagram. This one is free marks. Okay, if you get your plots correct, drawing should be easy. Okay, so I'll just quickly do this. Wait, I need to enlarge this a bit. Okay, first one is 1.47. So it's here, 1.525. Here, 1.655. Here, 1.779. Here, 1.806. Here, 1.920 here. Okay, kind of looks like a straight line really, but it's actually like that, huh? I feel like I plot something wrong. 1.779. Don't have. Oh, a bit weird. Okay, something like that. Okay, iPad a bit hard to draw nice curve, but if you draw it on paper, it should be much easier than what I'm doing here. Okay, roughly like that. All right. Use your diagram to find an estimate of the median height. Okay, median is where half of your data points lie. You have 120 data points. Your median is at 60. So what you do here is you read it here, and you read it down. Okay, again, the mark scheme accepts a range of answers. For me, this is 1.62. Okay. Yeah, so your median is 1.62. Okay, I'll scroll down to see the questions a bit. Okay, the 40th percentile. So for the 40th percentile, let me just put it back in the graph. The 40th percentile is where 40% of your data lies. So if you have 120 data points, the 40th percentile is just this times 40%, which is 48. So you look for 48, which is here. Okay, then you read off again. Okay, mine is 3、4、5、6、7、8 1.585. Right, 1.58. Okay, again, there's a range of answer. Okay, the mark scheme gives you a range of 1.6 to 1.63. This is for your median. And then for your 40th percentile, they are set 1.57 to 1.58. So if your answer lies between this, they will set. Okay, next portion. Algebra. Oh, free marks portion. People, when they test you on algebra, it's free marks. Because don't need thing one. Okay, find the value of S when this substitution. So S equals. This is actually your acceleration equation from physics. So plus half 1.6 times t squared. Okay, make sure you write down your substitution correctly. Yeah, if you don't get this right, you might still get meta marks. But there's no reason why you don't get this right. Just key in your calculator and you're done. Okay, simplify this again, 3 marks. See, 2 marks. Oh my gosh, 3 marks. Okay, 3a minus a is 2a. Negative 5b plus 2b is minus 3b. Okay, and then we do fractions. Fractions, right? We can simplify diagonally first. So 5 and 20 can divide by 5. 3x, 9x can both be divided by x, and the 3 can be divided by 3. This will become 1, this will become 3. So your final answer is just 3/4. Okay, solve the equation. We have single fractions on both sides. We cross multiply. So 15 equals negative 3x, then we divide negative 3 on both sides. Oh, this one only give you 1 mark. Interesting. Okay, part 2, expand first. So 20 minus 12x equals 23. Negative 12x equals 23 minus 20 equals 3. So x is negative 1/4. Okay, I skip steps a bit because I assume that if you are my student, your algebra will be relatively strong. Okay, let's move on. Okay, indices, simplify 27, x to the power of 9, whole thing to the power of 2/3. Okay, I have 2 terms here, so I'm going to apply power 2/3 to both. Okay, what does power 2/3 mean? Okay, I write this out in 2 fractions first. Okay, what does 2/3 mean? The numerator just means the power. The denominator is the power of your root. So 27 to the power of 203 is just 27 cube rooted square. Okay, 27 cube rooted is 3, 3 square is 9. Okay, so this is 9. Now, if you have an index like that, you just multiply. So 9 times 2/3. This is 6. Okay, expand and simplify, 3 marks again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6x squared plus 3xy minus 10xy minus 5y squared. Simplify. Okay, 3 marks. Just be careful of your signs here. Okay, we're halfway there already. This question 4. Transformation. Okay, draw the image of triangle T after reflecting in the line y equals -1. Okay, first we need y, we need to identify the line of reflection first. Okay, use a ruler, y equals -1 is here. It's a horizontal line. Okay, and then I want to reflect T along this line. Okay, the trick I like to use is just choose a point of reference. Okay, this point of reference. So I'm going to reflect this point. This point will end up here. Okay, I choose another point. I reflect. It will end up here. And lastly, this point, I reflect. It will end up here. Okay, I just connect. Obviously, use a ruler, yeah? Okay. I would also like to label this one. So I let my examiner know this is it. Okay, draw the image of triangle T after rotation of 90 degree clockwise. 90 clockwise about the origin. Let's erase this. Okay, rotation, like I like to do the arm method, meaning I draw an arm of reference, okay, like that. Then I rotate 90 degrees. Then my arm will end up here. Okay, so this point will come here. Then I do the same for another vertex. When I color code. So this pink color dot will end up here. Okay, next I do blue color dot. Same, I use the arm method. Okay, so if I rotate this arm, I will end up here. Okay, so the blue dot will end up here. Now, if you're confident, right, you can surely draw your triangle already. If not, you pick one more point. Okay, so this dark blue dot, dark blue dot. Okay, draw an arm connecting to the center. Your arm can also be any way you like. You can also draw it like that, as long as it just helps you refer better. Okay, now I rotate this clockwise 90 degree. It will end up here. Okay, once you got all your points of reference, just connect all the dots. Okay, this puppy. Okay, describe fully a transformation that maps T into triangle A. So notice that there's no change in size. So before that, there are 4 kinds of transformation you'll need to remember: translation, rotation, reflection, enlargement. So there's no change in size, definitely not enlargement. The orientation doesn't change, so it's definitely not reflection or rotation. It must be translation. Okay, so to describe translation, you need 2 things. You need to say it's translation. So I'm going to say translate first. Okay, and you need your translation vector. So again, pick a point of reference. So I'll just use the dark blue point. And then just count horizontally first. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 5 units horizontally. You're going down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So -6. Okay, you don't need a perfect sentence one because Cambridge marks for keywords. You say translate, you give the vector 4 marks already. Okay, Venn diagram. Okay, complete the Venn diagram to show this information. So basically, you're just filling in all the elements. Okay, before that, I like to actually just list out the elements for each set first. Okay, so your universal set contains 41, all the integers. Okay, all the integers between 41 and 50. So this one's like what? 41, 42, 43, all the way to 50. Okay, X for set A contains the elements of odd numbers. So 41, 43, 45, 47, 49. Okay, and then set B contains all your multiples of 3. So it's 42, 45, 48. Yeah. And then set C is all your prime numbers. Prime numbers are like 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49. Yeah. Okay, then I just list down. Okay, set A is, oh wait, before that, I'm gonna pick out all the intersecting ones first. Intersecting one is 45. Okay, so between A and B, that's 45, 45 put here. Okay, and then between B and C is, B and C is empty. So this one's empty, don't put anything. Then between A and C is 41, 43, and 47. Okay, so 41, 43, and 47. Okay, this is an interesting result because all prime numbers are odd except for 2. Okay, so here's I don't know, FYI. So all primes are odd. All primes are odd except 2. So here you can say C is a proper subset of A. That means all the elements in C would also be part of A. Okay, I'll put in the rest. So 49, 42, 48. Okay, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50. There you go. Okay, list the elements in A intersect C. So A intersect C is this region here. So list down everything that's inside. Okay, if you want to put in set notation, it's fine as well. Okay, B union C complement. So we first identify B union C first. Just write it back down. Use a highlighter. Okay, B union C is this portion. Okay, complement means everything except that. So I'm taking everything that I did not highlight. So the things that I did not highlight is 49, 44, 46, 50. So 44, 46, 49, 50. Okay, find the number of elements in A intersect B intersect C. A intersect B intersect C is the intersection between all 3 sets. It is actually this region here. There is nothing inside, so it's an empty set. Okay, let's move on. Oh, inequality. Rahim makes basket and mats. Each week he makes X baskets and y mats. He makes fewer than 10 mats, so y is less than 10 from this information. Okay, the number of mats he makes is greater than or equal to the number of basket he makes. So from this, y must be greater than or equal to x. Okay, write down the other inequality. Okay, one of the inequalities shows this information. Okay, I'm doing the question before even reading the question. Okay, so this is less than 10. The other inequality is this one. 3 marks. Okay, he takes 2 and 1/4 hours to make the basket and 1 and 1/2 hours to make a mat. Each week he works for a minimum of 22, maximum of 22.5 hours. Show that this. Okay, so he takes 2 and 1/4 hours to make a basket. So if he makes y baskets, sorry, if he makes x baskets, that will be the total time will be 2 and 1/4 times x. If he makes if it takes 1.5 hours to make a mat, that will take him 1 and 1/2 hours to make a mat. That means we need to find 1 and 1/2 times y. That's the total time he took for the mats. Okay, so this one is total time for, wow, they actually flip the order. You know, this is total time for basket, for x baskets. This is the total time for y mats. Okay, and he say he spends a maximum of 22.5, so maximum is 22.5 hours. So that's your inequality. You need to show that this reduces to what they want. Okay, what I'll do first is I'll change this into improper. So 9/4x plus 3/2y is less than to equal to 45/2. Okay, then I multiply 4 throughout. Okay, then I divide by 3. Okay, that's it. Okay, I think I need to, okay, the next portion is related. Okay, draw on the grid, draw 3 straight lines and shade the unwanted regions to show these inequalities. Okay, let me just rewrite the inequalities first, yeah? So the first one is y greater than or equal to x. The other one is y less than 10, I think. Wait, let me go and check. Yeah, fewer mats, so y less than 10. Then the third one is 3x plus 2y less than 30. Okay, I'm gonna sketch one by one first. I'm gonna sketch this one. Y greater than x. Use a ruler. Greater than or equal to, we draw a solid line. Okay, and y equals x is a diagonal that looks like this. Okay, and we draw a solid line because it includes the includes y greater than x. Hang on, wait. If I want the unwanted region, okay, then I need to draw a dotted line. Sorry. Okay, dotted line is a bit hard to draw, but yeah, you know. Okay, because this is the wanted region. So if I want to shade the unwanted region, I need to do broken lines, dotted lines. Yeah, these questions tend to be a bit more tricky. Okay, use a ruler. I don't have a ruler with me now. Okay, then y less than 10. I'm gonna draw a solid line this time. Wait, before that, let me label. Oh no, this line is y greater than x. Okay, y less than 10. So I need to draw in a solid line. Y equals 10. Okay, I'm gonna label first and I'll shade in later again. So this is y greater than or equal to 10. Sorry, this is y less than x because I'm shading the unwanted region. So it's a bit more confusing. Okay, now the tricky one to draw is this one, 3x plus 2y less than 30. So I need to draw 3x plus 2y equals 30. Okay, there are a few ways to draw straight line graphs. Okay, the fastest way and the easiest way is just to put in a few values. Okay, so let's say when x equals 0, y equals 15. When x equals 1, so this would be, I don't want 1 because it'll be hard to draw. Let's say x equals 2. X equals 2, this will be 6, right? Then y needs to be 24. 2y needs to be 24, y is 12. Okay, next I can draw 4. If x is 4, 3x is 12. And then 2y needs to be 18, so y must be 9. So I have 3 points. I just draw my line. Okay, 0, 15 is here. All right, change to blue pen. Oh, use a pencil to draw this. Sorry, don't use a pen. Okay, 2, 12 here. And then 4, 9 here. Okay, this one I also draw dotted lines. Why? Because I want to shade the unwanted region. Okay, so dotted lines. Okay, so this is 3x plus 2y greater than 30. Okay, now I'm going to shade in one by one. So again, this one, let's start with this, y less than x. Now, this is the region I want, y greater than or equal to x. So the region that I don't want is y less than x. So I'm going to shade in everything that is below this. Okay, next, y less than 10. This is the region that I want. Okay, so the region that I don't want is y greater than or equal to 10. So I'm shading everything above y greater than 10. Okay, finally, this one, 3x plus 2y less than or equal to 30. The region that I don't want is 3x plus 2y greater than 30. This is the region that I don't want. So I shade everything above this line. So everything here. Okay, this is under the chapter called linear programming on your textbook, if you have a textbook. So the region that I really want is here. So for any coordinates of x and y that I pick here, it will satisfy all 3 inequalities at the same time. Okay, let me repeat that. You have 3 inequalities. Any coordinates, any point I pick within this region will satisfy all 3 inequalities at the same time. Right? Okay, 60. Okay. He makes a profit of $40 on each basket he sells and 28 for each mat he sells. Calculate the maximum profit he can make each week. Let me see how to do it, huh? Okay, now to maximize the profit, the idea is I want to make as many baskets and as many mats as I want. But realize that because he can only spend a maximum of 22.5 hours, right? He needs to sort of balance out, right? So for example, I cannot make 10 baskets and 10 mats. Why? Because that will exceed his working time. And from the diagram, from the graph that you have drawn, 10, 10 is here. Right? And that's beyond the solution, right? You want to pick a point within this red color region that will maximize, right, the profit he earns. Okay, and to maximize the profit, you want the greatest number of baskets and mats that he can make. Okay, so let's take a look here. Obviously, we took a look at 9 first. So that's the most number of y. I forgot what y is, but that's the most number of mats that he can make. Okay, so we look at here, and then the maximum of number of what is he making actually? I forgot already. Okay, y is mats, x is baskets. So mats and baskets. Okay, so that's the maximum number of mats that he can make. So what's the maximum of baskets he can make? Given this is here. Okay, now this can lie on this region here because you're drawing the dotted line. The dotted line is not included in the region that you want. Okay, so to maximize the profit, right, he needs to you need to choose this point, which is 9 mats and 4 baskets. Oops. Okay, so I'm just gonna write here the maximum profit. Max profit is 40 times 9. Basket is 40 times 9. Yeah. Okay, 40 times 9. And then 28 times 4. Is it 4? 28 times 4. Sorry, I terbalik already. This one's 4, this one's 9. So 4, this one 9. Yeah, 412. Okay, very complicated question. Linear programming tends to be a little bit harder because you need to understand the graph and all those stuff. Okay, next, bearings, 3 marks. Okay, these are all connected. Okay, diagram shows positions of 3 points. ABC show that BC is 118.1 meters. We use the cosine rule straight away. Okay, why? Because you have 3 sides. BC, 80, 115, you have 1 angle. Okay, so BC is facing 72. So BC square equals 80 square plus 115 square minus 2 times 80 times 115 cosine 72. Okay, this is a show question, so we try not to skip so many steps. Okay, but I don't think we can skip that many steps either way. Okay, so we just key this into our calculator. Okay, this is 12814.0873 dot dot dot. So BC is just the square root of this, which is 113.2. I go on 3.2. That's weird. Yeah, let me key in again. A square plus 115 square plus 2 times 80 times 115 cosine 72. Yeah, 118.06. Okay, so this is 118.06 to 1 dp 0.1. Okay, calculate angle ABC. Oh, by the way, realize the cosine rule is worth 3 marks. Okay, calculate angle ABC, we're going to use the sine rule for this. Okay, why do I know this is sine rule? Because I have 2 angles and 2 sides. Okay, so this angle is facing this one. This angle is facing this one here. It's 118.1. Okay, so sine angle ABC over 115 equals sine 72 over 118.1. Okay, I just cross multiply here and just use inverse. One five sine 72. Okay, you can actually skip this step. This step you can skip. Just make sure your answer is correct. So 67.8 meters. Okay, question 3, find the bearing of A from B. Okay, bearing of C from A. Bearing of C from A is 147. Okay, C from A. From A means I draw my compass at A. And then C is this. So I'm told that this angle is 147. Okay, 147. Which means this angle here is 147 minus 72. Okay, this is 75 degrees. Okay, what do I wanna? Let me go down. Find the bearing of A from B. Okay, A from B means I draw my compass at B. A from B, draw a compass here. Okay, then I'm trying to find this angle here. Okay, I already know that this angle is 67.8 as found in part B. Okay, then I can use alternate angles. This one here. Okay, to deduce that this entire angle here is 75 degrees as well. Okay, so that means this small angle here is 75 minus 67.8, which is 7.2 degrees. So to find the bearing, I just take 180 degrees plus this. Wait, did I do it right? Oh no, sorry, it's wrong already. B from A. I want to do it B from A. Sorry. Oh, this one actually not needed. Sorry, B from A is here. I misread the question. B from A is this entire angle here. Okay, so I already know that from alternate angle, this angle here is 75. So I just need do 75 plus 180. That is 225 degrees. And I'm done. 255 degrees, sorry. And I'm done. Okay, and then for B from C. Okay, B from C, I draw my compass at C. Okay, and I need to find this small angle here. Okay, same thing using alternate angles. And when you do this kind of bearing question, you use law of alternate angles. Using alternate angles, I know that this angle here will be the same as this angle here. Okay, let me label it properly so you all can see nicely also. So alternate angle here, can label it in pink lah. So this angle will be the same as this angle. So just now, when I made the mistake, you all can actually find this angle really quickly. Now we know that from part B, this is 67.8. This entire blue color angle here is 75. So the pink color angle is 75 minus 67.8, which is 7.2. And then using alternate angles, this is 7.2 degrees as well. Okay, so the bearing of B from C, remember bearing is a 3-digit number. So it's 007.2 degrees. Okay, Cambridge is very, very lenient. For whatever reason, you forget that bearing is a 3-digit system, you just write 7.2, you get full marks also. This is based on the mark scale. Very, very generous. Yeah, Cambridge doesn't penalize students for, these kind of small mistakes. Okay, Mitchell takes 35 seconds to run from A to C. Calculate his average speed. Okay, A to C is 115. It's 115 meters. So speed is just distance divided by time. So the speed is 115 divided by 35 seconds. Okay, and this is 23 over 7. Take note, this is meters per second. The question wants it in km per hour. Okay, that's why they give you 3 marks. So you can, most of your marks come in conversion. Okay, if you write this, you get 1 mark already, by the way. Okay, so how do I convert meters per second to kilometers per hour? Some schools, they will teach you to times 3,600 divided by 1,000. Okay, my method is this. Okay, you know that this is, let me write in book, 37 over 23 over 7. This is meters, this is in seconds. So to convert meters to km, I need to divide 1,000. And then to convert seconds to hours, I need to divide by 60 squared. So divide by 60, divide by 60. So you just punch calculator. So it's 23 divide 1,000 over 7 divide 60 divide 60. Okay, calculator magic. You'll get 11.8 km per hour. Okay, calculate the shortest distance from B to AC. The shortest distance from a point to a line is the perpendicular distance. Okay, take note of this. Okay, so we're finding the perpendicular distance from B to AC. Let me go back to the diagram. This is the perpendicular distance. And we can just use basic trigo. So let's say this is D. We just need to take note of this triangle here. Okay, we are given the hypotenuse and the opposite, so we can use sine. So sine 72 equals D over 80. Okay, so D is just 80 sine 72. So 76.1 meters. Okay, so you see how much trigo is worth in total, if you go and calculate this question, how much marks it is worth in total, it's 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 2. Okay, this speed question is a bit weird. It's just inside here, we don't count this. And then part E. So just like purely trigo questions, or trigo bearing questions, they come out to 14 marks. So trigonometry is like the highest return of investment topic for your IGCSE. Like, for example, like part A and part B, you just use the sine rule, cosine rule, they give you 6 marks already. And then part E, you just use basic trigo, they give you another 3 marks. Yeah. Okay, trigonometry, question 8. Right. Okay, we're almost done already. Okay, sketch the graph y equals sine x. Y equals sine x. You just need to remember sine x graph looks like this. Okay, to do this. This one really just memorize, because if you don't take MF, no point you understand the all the nitty-gritty details of the sine graph also. Okay, so at 90, it will be maximum. At 180, it will be 0. At 270, it will be its minimum. So your sine graph looks like this. Just like that, just memorize, honestly. And then for cosine graph, you just shift this graph to the left or to the right by 90 degrees. So your cosine graph will look like this. Okay, so you can sort of imagine the blue curve. I shift it to the left by 90 degrees, you get the red curve. Okay, describe fully the symmetry of the graph. How do you want to? How should I describe this? Crap. It's actually, there are two kinds of symmetry, by the way. For IG, there's the line of symmetry, or usually we call it reflection, and there's also a rotational symmetry. Okay, this one looks like a rotational symmetry of degree 2. Okay, so this one is a rotational symmetry. Rotational symmetry, order 2. Okay, what does it mean by order 2? That means if I rotate this entire graph by 360 degrees, one whole turn, how many times can I get back the same shape? Okay, so imagine this, I rotate this by 180, you get back the same shape. And then by another 180, 360 degrees, you get back the same shape. Okay, now I'm not sure if this will be acceptable, but by the way, there's also a line of symmetry for this curve. So if you extend this, okay, I'm going off topic a bit, but if you extend this to 730 degrees, the graph will repeat itself. Okay, but that's also not a line of symmetry. Yeah, I think the only answer here is rotational symmetry. Okay, let's continue. Solve for sine x minus 1 equals 2. Okay, this one, again, just remember the process. If you don't take MF, it's a bit tough to go through all the topics as well. Okay, we put -1 to either side, so this is 3. Then we divide 4 on both sides, and x equals 3/4. Then we just put in our calculator value, sine inverse 3/4. We get x equals 48.6 degrees. Okay, your calculator only give you one value. So this is your principal value. Okay, and just a quick crash course or revision. If you solve x, right, for any sine function, you solve for x, you get an infinite number of solutions. That's why they always give you a domain when you're solving trigonometry equations. Okay, and again, depends on how your school teach you. If you do NF, we use the CAST diagram. Okay, so the next time that sine will be positive, it will be in this quadrant here. Okay, so with the same basic angle, so the next solution will be 180 minus 48.6. So it's 131.4. 40.6, 131.4. Okay, this one I won't go through here. If you really want to know how this is solved, you need to revise, right, from textbook or notes, whatever it is. It's just that this particular year, this paper 4 is a little bit like content heavy. They will test you on content that are not typically tested. Okay, last question. I believe this is the last one. Let me scroll down. Oh no, it's not. Okay, write down x squared plus 10x plus 14 in the form of this. This is completing the square. And if you need to revise this, yeah, you need to go back to the chapter on completing the square. Okay, the trick is to just ignore the constant. Okay, x squared plus 10x. Then you complete the square, you look at the coefficient of x, divide by 2, and then square it. So plus 10 over 2 square. Okay, like chemistry, right? You added something new, you subtract it to balance it. So I've added this, so I need to minus it back. Okay, so this is my completed square. So this one goes to plus 5, sorry. This one factorizes to x plus 5 squared. Okay, this one is 14 minus 25, that will be negative 11. Okay, on the axis, sketch this graph. Now, the completed square form has an advantage. That's because they give you the turning point of your quadratic. Is negative of this and this. So your turning point is negative 5, negative 11. Okay, now the coefficient of your graph, your coefficient of the x squared is positive, so your curve will be smiling. So remember that if your coefficient is positive, right, your curve is smiling. If the coefficient is negative, your curve is frowning. So this will be your minimum point. Okay, they didn't ask you to label the axis of intersection, so that's fine. We just draw the turning point. Negative 5, negative 11 will be here. Okay, your curve is smiling, so maybe like that. Agak can already. So you don't really need to know or get this like intersection correct. Okay, let's move on. Okay, second last question already. Okay, diagram shows a sector or circle. Okay, this one easy. Calculate the total perimeter. So this perimeter has two portions. One is the arc length. Then common mistake students will always forget to add the radii here. So you need to add 8 plus 8. Okay, so the perimeter is 160, 5 over 360 times 2 pi r, 2 pi times 8. And then we need to add the radii here and here. So plus 2 times 8. That's it. We just key in our calculator. And we will get 39.0. Okay, the surface area of sphere is the same as the area of the sector. Area of the sector. Okay, first we find area of sector first. So area of sector, AOB, is 165 over 360 times pi r squared, pi 8 squared. That will give us 92.2. 155, put it to one more SF. Okay, the radius, we want to find the radius of a sphere which has the same surface area as this. Okay, question graciously tell you that the area of a sphere is this. So I just form my equation, 4 pi r squared equals 92.15. So to solve for r, just divide 4 pi and then square root it. Okay, I get 2.71 to 3SF. That's just it. Okay, cone. A cone is made by joining sector OA to OB. Okay, this one a bit hard for me to illustrate here, but basically what happens is, if I join these two, I color code a bit. Yeah, I can easily, but online a bit hard. So let's say this and this, right? And then I just color code. If I fold this up to make a cone, okay, let's say the crease is here. Red portion will end up here. The green portion will end up here. And then the yellow portion will be my circumference of the base. Okay, so if you want to really visualize this, my advice is to go and cut out a fan shape like that and then fold it into a cone. Then it will be pretty clear to see how the dimensions are related. Okay, so calculate the radius of the cone. So just now, if you pay attention, the arc length of my fan would form the circumference of my base here. Okay, so the arc length of AB will be 165 over 360 times 2 pi r, which I've used to find part A just now. Okay, I'll get 23.038. Okay, then this becomes the circumference of the base of the circle. So 2 pi r will equals 23.038. Should I get 3.67? Okay, so the base radius is 3.67. Calculate the volume of the cone. So again, question graciously gave you the formula. Wait, let me just scroll down a bit. Okay, just remove everything. It's 3.67. Okay, question graciously gave you the formula. You already have the r radius, you need the height. Okay, so to find the height, you need to use Pythagoras theorem a bit, right? So we look at this triangle here. Okay, we already know that r is 3.67. Now we need to know the hypotenuse here. Okay, but the hypotenuse, like I said just now, this side is actually just the radius of the fan shape just now we have, right? So just now we have a shape that looks like this. But recall that this side and this side were attached to form your slant height, right? So this is just 8. Okay, so height is 8 square minus 3.67 square, square root. So the radius is 7.11. Okay, then I just sub this in. Volume is 1/3 pi. R squared is 3.67 squared times the height, 7.11. And just like that, they give you 4 marks. Okay, so most of the marks actually comes from you actually understanding what the question is happening, like what the question is trying to do here. Right. Just like that, 4 marks. Again, so yeah, the tough part is not tough part. Most of the marks come from you being able to visualize how this 2D shape can fold into a cone and how their dimensions are related. Okay, but it's a very common question. So now you know how to do already. Okay, I think this is the last question. Yeah, okay, let's go. Coordinate geometry. A rhombus ABCD has a diagonal AC. Okay, when you see shapes and the question didn't draw the shape, please draw the shape. Rhombus means all the sides are the same size and the opposite sides are parallel. Okay, point A is negative 310. Point C is 4, negative 4. Calculate the length of the diagonal. Okay, this one pretty simple. We use Pythagoras. So AC is negative 3. This minus this squared. This minus this squared. Plus 10 minus negative 4 squared. The whole thing squared. This one is just plug formula only. 15.7 units. Okay, show that the equation of AC is that. Okay, to find the equation of a straight line, right, you need 2 things. Now, if you've done coordinate geometry with me, you probably heard this until you vomit already. You need 1, the gradient. Okay, and 2, you need any point on that line. Any point on the line. Okay, you already have 2 points available for you. So this one and this one. Because AC obviously lies on the line AC lah. So all you need is the gradient. So the gradient AB is 10 minus 4. Sorry, 10 minus minus 4. Negative 3 minus 4. So gradient is y1 minus y2 over x1 minus x2. Common mistake is student will put the x on top. Okay, so do not put x on top. For gradient, you put y on top. Okay, so this is 14 over -7. This is -2. Okay, so your equation is y equals -2x plus c. So to find c, we substitute one of the points in. So when, I'm going to use this point here, huh? When x equals -3, y equals 10. So I substitute this in. 10 equals -2 times -3 plus c. C equals 4. So you have shown that y equals -2x plus 4. Okay, find the equation of the line BD. Again, this is a very MF question. I don't know why this end up in extended this year. Okay, yeah, it's a very MF question. So just cross your fingers and hope this doesn't come out for exam. Okay, same thing. If you want to find the equation of line BD, we are finding the equation of a straight line. We need two things. We need the gradient and the point on any line. Now, a property of a rhombus is this. The diagonals would bisect each other at 90 degrees. Okay, this is actually the toughest part. Even the MF students cannot get one. The diagonals of a rhombus will bisect each other at 90 degrees. That means this will be 90 degrees, dot, 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 like that. All right, this side also the same. It will bisect. Okay, so from this fact, we know that BD is perpendicular to AC. So we find the gradient already. So the gradient of BD is, I write this more clearly. So BD is perpendicular to AB, which means the gradient of BD is the negative reciprocal of MAB. So it's -half. Okay, not -half, half, because AB is negative already. Okay, next, we need a point. So the second part where the second property where the diagonals bisect each other means that the midpoint of AC is the same as the midpoint of BD. Okay, I write it down. So midpoint of BC is the same as the midpoint, midpoint of BD is same as the midpoint of AC. Okay, so I'm going to find the midpoint of AC. To find midpoint, we just do -3 plus 4 over 2, 10 minus 4 over 2. We just add the x coordinate divided by 2 and add the y coordinate divided by 2. So this is half and 3. Okay, mark scheme. You do this 1 mark, you do this 1 mark. Okay, the final step is pretty straightforward already. If you got these two information, you can find the equation already. So equation is y equals half x plus c. So you substitute this value in, half and 1/3. So when x equals half, y equals 3. So half times half plus c equals 3. So c equals 11 over 4. So your equation is y equals half x plus 11 over 4. Okay, let's move on. Calculus. Yeah, like for example, part 2 is part 2 is a bit weird because again it's a very MF question, and there's a lot of like MF questions happening in this paper. So again, that's why it makes it a little bit difficult, actually much difficult for a lot of students. Okay, a bit unfair for those of us who takes MF, because these will be really easy to solve. Okay, work out the coordinates of two turning points. Turning point, you see keyword, so we need to do differentiation. So dy dx is 3x squared plus 16x plus 5. Okay, just a quick recap on how you do your differentiation. Okay, extended only got one method. You bring down the power, reduce the power by 1. Same thing, you bring down power, so this is 16. 2, you reduce by 1. Okay, x to the power of 1, you bring down the power. This one becomes 0. So x to the power of 0 is just 1. So that's just it. Okay, so that's how I got my derivative. Okay, Turning points occur when dy dx equals 0. Okay, turning points occurs when dy dx equals 0. So I let 3x squared plus 16x plus 5 equals 0. So here we're solving a quadratic equation. Okay, now if you don't have a calculator, the way you do this is use the multiplication frame. 16x, right? So 5, 1. So 3x plus 1, x plus 5 equals 0. Okay, solve x equals -1/3 or -5. Okay, so this is just the x coordinate. To find the y coordinate, I substitute these values in to this original equation. Do not substitute back to the derivative, because if you substitute this back to the derivative, you just get 0. Okay. So y equals, I'll just use calculator for this now, honestly. Okay, this one will be -22 over 27. Okay, if it's -5, it will be 50. So my coordinates is -1/3. This, -5, 50. Okay, this one really is, I don't think it's in your current extended syllabus, but the fastest way to check if this is, if these are your turning point or like maximum minimum is to use the second derivative test. Okay, the second derivative test is basically just differentiating this expression again. Okay, so the second derivative is 6x plus 16. Okay, then to test, we substitute the x values of the coordinates. So when x equals this, 1/3, my second derivative will be 6 times -1/3 plus 16. Okay, it's 14. Okay, the second test is this. If your second derivative is greater than 0, then this point will be minimum. Okay. Now, if it's positive, it's minimum. Now, if it's negative, then will be maximum. Okay. So when x equals -5, second derivative is just key this in calculator. -5 cubed plus 8 times 25 plus 5 times. So it's positive, 50. So they are both minimum. Wait, is it? They're typing wrongly. Wait. -5 cubed plus 8 times -5 squared plus 5 times -5. Oh, sorry. I substituted this into the wrong function. This one I need to substitute back into my into this. What am I doing? Okay, -5, substitute this in. I'll get 6 times -5 plus 16. Okay, this is -14, which is less than 0. So if it's less than 0, it's maximum. So your conclusion is -5, 50 is max. Okay, this one's only 3 marks. Again, I don't know why this is here. It's really not in your syllabus. Yeah. Okay, anyway, that's it. I will admit that this paper is weird. It's not difficult. It's just a lot of the questions are not meant to be asked here. They just ask it for the sake of asking. And this paper is not easy. Okay, the first portion is definitely doable, and it gets a little bit weird in the end. So I would say around question 6 is difficult. Okay, and then question 8, 9, 10, they begin to go into the MF region already. So yeah, just pray that the papers you encounter won't be so weird. Yeah, but that's about it.